Most people want to invest, but many people don't know where to start. Believe it or not, you might not even be financially ready to invest yet, and in this video, we're going to go take a quick scan of your financial situation so we can see if you're actually ready to invest money for the long haul. List out all your liquid assets and liabilities. In layman's terms, your assets are basically your money and anything else you can reliably turn into money. For the purposes of this exercise, we're only going to list your liquid assets, which is either cash or something that turns into cash in 1 to 2 days. We're not including investments like stocks, real estate, crypto, and certain bonds because of either their liquidation time or because they just go up and down too much to be safely used as emergency cash. So liquid assets will include any cash in the bank, money market funds, and any CDs or treasuries that you have that have a term length below 1 year. Then we're going to list out your liabilities. These are your debts from anything like a credit card, mortgage, car loans, student loans, etc. And they should be organized by amount, term length, minimum payments, and percent APR. Priority 0.5. Check if you have any outstanding debt on an open credit card that you owe interest on. If so, any extra cash is going to be used to pay that down to zero first. If you can help it, you want to aim to pay off your credit card statement balance every month. Making sure your credit card balance doesn't carry over is extremely important, and to really drive home how important this is, I want to compare credit card APR to the kind of gains you'd expect from investment returns. Debt in general, you can think of as negative investment. So on something you're invested in, you gain a positive interest. Sometimes you call that APY. On a debt, you lose interest, and so you're calling that APR. If you had an investment that returned 10% per year guaranteed, that would be an insanely good investment. And man, if you had an investment that returned 30% per year, everyone in the world would be on that, guaranteed. Here's the bad news. If you have a credit card balance that you're not paying off at the end of the statement month, that charges 20 to 30% APR. Bear in mind, that's every year. You are giving the bank a 20 to 30% guaranteed investment. You are guaranteed to lose that on the balance you owe every year. Make it make sense. I would argue that this is more important than even having an emergency savings, because if you have an open credit card in the first place, paying it off allows you to use your credit as an emergency budget to purchase your needs again anyways. But if you hold cash that could have just been used to pay down your card, you're just choosing to pay more money. Remember, this does not apply to closed credit cards. This is because you can't use a closed credit card to buy things. If you only have closed credit cards that you owe debt on, don't make that your first priority because it's more important that you have enough to live. So, priority number 1. Once your open credit cards are paid off, build up an emergency savings account. A safe definition of an emergency savings is enough cash to last you at least 3 months of your average total expenses. If you are on the risk-averse side, your emergency savings might be closer to 6 months of your expenses. Commit to not using the emergency savings for any of your day-to-day expenses. Keep your checking account to pay off your bills and only use the emergency funds for unexpected ones. Having this margin of safety means you're so much less stressed if your car explodes, or if you get a hernia, or if you forgot to pay taxes last year, or if you owe the mafia. Now, once you have an emergency fund, assess your debts again and check if you have any debts that you owe more than 7% APR on. If you do, I would use any excess income to pay off those debts first in full, before even considering investing. Think of debt that incurs interest as negative investing. If a loan charges you 7% APR, you're losing 7% of that loan balance per year on any outstanding amount you owe. The average return on long-term investing is only a little bit higher than 7% when you account for external factors like capital gains taxes. Therefore, if you pay off any debt that's charging more than 7%, you're basically making a 7% guaranteed return investment. As for any other debt that's lower in APR, make sure you just pay back the minimum payment to keep your credit score up. Once you've paid off all debts charging 7% or higher APR, the last step is to determine if you have any planned, non-flexible expenses that are coming up in the next couple years or so that you need to save and allocate money for. This could be something like a travel plan that you book next summer, a tuition payment coming up, or maybe the mafia. Okay, if you got any of these coming up, just make sure you have enough money to pay off those expenses. And this is unfortunately because you aren't able to control how well the market does on the month that you need to pay tuition. Because the stock market can go up and down just at any time, if you're investing for something that's time sensitive, that's less than a couple years away, you may be forced to sell at a pretty awful time. With all this fear-mongering, I also want to note that you don't actually have to micromanage every possible expense that you may have before you start investing. We're just looking to plan for the big, obvious expenses you know are coming up. Once you've gone through all 4 steps and you've got money left over, congratulations, you are ready to invest and you have your basic finances in superb order.